all rise for the pledge of allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's on. Thank you.
Item number 1, acceptance of meeting minutes. Minutes from meeting of April 5th, 2016 to be accepted and approved by the town council. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Catanzaro, seconded by Councilman Juicy. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 2, Class F liquor license. Town council will consider a vote for the approval of a Class F license for the St. Anthony's Church. The St. Anthony's feast to be held from June 9th, 2016 through June 12th, 2016.
Make a motion to accept. Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 3, entertainment license. Town council will consider a vote for the approval of an entertainment license for St. Anthony's Church for the St. Anthony's feast to be held from June 9th, 2016 to June 12th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman Stephanus. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 4, vendor license. Town council will consider approval of a vendor license for Amy Hodge of BJ Allen Company, DBA Phantom Fireworks at 1525 Smith Street, North Providence, Rhode Island. Is Ms. Hodge here? Just please state your name for the record.
Amy Hodge.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Hodge?
There's 3 of them here from Beaches.
Is there a thing signed off from the department?
What's the new location you're putting them at?
Spardello's, the old Spardello's.
Okay.
So Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve for 1525 Smith Street?
So moved.
Wait, that's not on, Smith Street is not Spardello's.
No, it's just not
different ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Spados was the addition this year,
okay.
2 last year.
That's the next one.
Made by Amy, second.
Okay.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Juicy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? Okay. Motion's been approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Guys have it. Item number 5. You can stay up there. Vendor license. Town council to consider approval of a vendor license for Amy Hodge of BJ Allen Company, DBA Phantom Fireworks at 1483 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence, Rhode Island. Any questions on 1483 Middle Spring Avenue? We have a motion to approve for 1483 Middle Spring.
So moved.
We have a second. We have a second.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Catanzaro, seconded by Councilman Fiola. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Where's this
Ayes have it. Item number 6, vendor license. Town council will consider approval of a vendor license for Amy Hodge of BJ Allen Company, DBA Phantom Fireworks at 1920 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence, Rhode Island. Any questions on 1920 Middle Spring Avenue?
That's Spados.
Yep. So moved. No.
Motion's been made by Councilman Juicy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Fiola. Any questions on 1920 Middle Spring Avenue? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. You're all set.
Thank
you
you.
very much. Item number 7, victualling license. Town council to consider approval of a victualling license for Paulo and Jacqueline De Silva, DBA Uscream Ice Cream at 1 Smithfield Road, North Providence, Rhode Island. Do I have Paulo and Jacqueline De Silva here? Just come up to the mic. Can you please just state your name for the record?
Paulo De Silva.
Jacqueline De Silva.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for them? That's a great idea, by the way.
It is.
Good location.
My buddy, I live right up the street, my buddy and I were driving by and we saw the construction, he said, you know what would be a great idea for an ice cream shop over there? And then he put up the sign in his face. Thank you for that.
That's good.
So I'd like to entertain a motion to grant the victualling license.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DeStefan. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good luck, thank you.
Great name.
Say it 3 times fast.
Item number 8, laundry license. Town council will consider approval of a laundry license for Wally Young Hong LLC DBA Stop and Wash Laundromat, 1527 Smith Street, North Providence, Rhode Island. Do I have anyone here from Stop and Wash Laundromat? Come to me.
Another name in this place, I'll bet you any money.
I can't tell their names apart. Where are the hours?
Good evening, Mark Rubin.
Okay, state your name for the record as well.
Good evening, my name is Yang Tang.
Okay.
Lao Thong Chan.
Does anybody have any questions? Everyone has the paperwork in front of them?
Is this in the plaza? The 1527? It's in the plaza with the gym?
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay.
Right next to you, right? Next to you,
Yes.
okay.
I guess I do have just one question. Are you buying the business name? Are you buying all the assets in the business?
Both.
Like the machines and everything like that? So they're all current with their taxes?
Yes, those were paid last week.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Catanzaro, seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 9, holiday license. Town council will consider approval of a holiday license for Huali Yang Hong LLC DBA Stop and Wash Laundromat, 1527 North Providence, Rhode Island. Any questions on the holiday license? Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve the holiday license.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman Catanzaro. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Item number 10, peddler vendor license. Town council to consider approval of a peddler vendor license for Wendy Lepore of 545 Angel Road, Bloomington, Rhode Island. Please state your name for the record.
Wendy Lepore.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Lepore?
Is this just for a day?
I don't think so.
Mr. President,
Go ahead.
on the form, there's no hours. It says depends on weeks and weather.
Because it would be outside, probably at Governor Nadi Park is where I would like to go, so I was hoping for Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, depending on the weather.
Okay, so your intent is to have it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Noddy Park.
Yes, it is.
Would you be going anywhere else, or that's just your intent to do
My
it in the
intent
park?
was to start at Governor Nadi Park.
Say that again, please?
My intent was to start at Governor Nadi Park.
Okay. So,
Mr. President,
Go ahead, Councilman.
so are you gonna be displaying, selling during, the farmer's market?
I create my own artwork that I would be selling.
Okay, so are you gonna be selling it at the farmer's market, or are you just gonna be setting up a stand every Friday, Saturday, and
So
Sunday?
setting us up a stand every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Can we do that?
Well, what we can do is we can grant the victualling license, but you're gonna have to coordinate with our recreation department, because they're gonna have to issue a license.
Yes,
Because they approve of when the park can be used.
yes, I believe
Okay.
I'd have to do that.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion to approve the victualling license? I mean, the peddler vendor license?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman Fiola. Any more questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Item number 11, CDBG Grant Resolution 16-004, received request for discussion and vote from Kathleen McCabe for authorizing resolution 16-004 regarding Rhode Island Small Community Development Block Grant, CDBG.
Hi, thank you, Council President. I'm Kathy McCabe, and I've been working for the town as the CDBG coordinator. It's the Rhode Island CDBG office asked us to, they moved up the deadline dates back to spring. I was here last fall. Last fall we applied for, and when we found out about 30 days ago that the town got $100,000 for repaving streets in some of the low and moderate income neighborhoods, particularly the Greystone area, as well as for improvements to the Zambarano House that Fogarty Center operates. If you drive by, you can see that the Phase 1 exterior improvements to enhance handicap accessibility for the group home have been in place, and we're continuing to do home repair improvements through the Johnston North Providence Home Repair Program, and we got some more money for that. So this year, we're asking your authorization to apply once again for $350,000, which is the maximum that North Providence can apply for. We're asking for 4 programs, continuing the Johnston North Providence Home Repair Program that provides no interest loans that are due and payable upon sale or transfer of the home to North Providence homeowners who qualify. This can be for roof repair, replacing broken furnaces, for just anything that's code compliant. Sometimes if there's a child that has asthma, sometimes it helps remove some of the asthma triggers, so it's a kind of a feel-good program. We're also suggesting a partnership with Providence Water to replace some of the, and upgrade some of the water lines. St. Mary's Home for Children is asking for a second phase of continuing improvements to the residential component and their facilities at St. Mary's Home for Children. And Tri-Town Community Action Agency is asking for funds so that they can use the second floor at the Old Boys and Girls Club at 33 Maple Street, because they're kind of running out of room and want to be able to use the second floor for offices, but it needs to be vented and have windows. So that totals a request of $350,000, and we're asking your authorization to submit the application.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for coming. On the first one, for the home repair program, is there a balance in that more than $25,000 currently? Is there a carryover from last year?
So right now, the reason why it's a small amount is that the state has set a set-aside, so we can go and whenever we have more demand, we can go in and have apply to get more access more money on a case-by-case basis. We do have some money that was awarded last year, but we didn't find out about that award till March 1st of this year. So we're still in the environmental review on that. So we've been spending money at a regular basis. We did have an article in the newspaper at the suggestion of the planning board to remind people of the home repair program. It's a joint project. Johnston does the day-to-day administration of it, but we regularly do about anywhere from 6 to a dozen homes every year on small home repairs.
Thank you. So how much money do we have in it?
To be honest, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm happy to look it up and get back to you on that. So I know that because the day-to-day operations is in Johnston, I don't have that number off the top of my head.
Would you be able to get that information to the clerk so she can give it to the council?
I'm happy to get that to the clerk, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr.
On number
President?
two,
I'm sorry.
on number 2, it says that we're requesting the money, and Providence Water will be matching the funds for line replacement. So all those lines are not the ownership of the Providence Water Department?
Right, the money for the grant money would apply for the lines that go from the curb stop to the house, which is the issue of the private property owner.
Correct.
So we would do it in low and moderate income neighborhoods.
Okay, so currently the homeowner is responsible for that through,
Right.
whether they have it through insurance, that they can get through a private vendor. So will this work the same way that they would have to apply if the water company came over?
I've asked for the state to enable us, and this is a pending request, we have 4 census tract block group areas that have 51% or more low and moderate income areas, that we would do it on an area-wide basis so that I don't have to individually qualify everyone as low and moderate income, because we have over 51% of the homeowners or the people living in those block group areas as low and moderate income, so I would do it on an area-wide basis.
So how would we know those homes if there's any problems, or, because how Providence Water does it now is if they detect a leak or high meter usage, they come out and they check, or they tell the homeowner that they have a leak.
Correct.
So are we doing it on that basis, or are we randomly, if people
We're
know
gonna
that
do
they
it
have an
system-
old
we're gonna
line,
do
are
it
we, let me
systematic.
just finish.
I think-
If they, could I finish, please?
I'm sorry, I was trying to respond to your question, I didn't mean to interrupt.
If they have an old line, and they know they have an old line, are they going to be able to solicit the town and ask for that, just like the HUD loan program, or the town going to those people to offer it?
We will, if there is an issue with the old line, we would certainly want to know about it, and we will certainly try and respond on a case-by-case basis. But in order to be more cost-effective, we're going to try and do it all on one street or a group of streets that are in close proximity, so we can just do it all at once. So that way, there is economies of scale in terms of doing the work very closely together. And also, any of the repair and utility patches are all in one place, which then allows for more efficient use of public resources on repaving and upgrade. So that's kind of the approach, but obviously if there is individual problems or issues, we're going to be demand responsive.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. McCabe, I believe I heard you say that the amount is $350,000, correct?
Correct.
So I'd like to make a motion that we change the amount listed in the resolution 16-004, from $450,000 to $350,000.
Okay, well, that was my typo originally, so, because
We can
I was
correct it
hoping
here.
we could get to 450. I'd asked the state if we could go to up to 450, and they said, no, we had to stay at
So a motion's been made by Councilman Gray, do I have a second?
No second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Yusi. Any questions on the 450 to 350? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Any more questions regarding the grant?
Mr. President,
Councilman?
can we get a copy of that spot map?
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
Can we get a copy of the map which signifies the zones?
I'll get that to clerk, and then I'm happy to share that with everyone.
And then you stated that because 51% of the town is in that realm, you don't have to go out and individually qualify somebody. So individuals, if you do a street, let's say, individuals on that street might be of higher income demographic, so they're fortunate, whereas someone else on another street who should be in the program is going to suffer for that. How are we ensuring that
Well,
we're...
I'm trying to get the biggest bang for our resources.
And I understand that, but sometimes trying to be efficient doesn't help those in need.
Well, I'm trying to be both fair and efficient within the rules. So we can always do a income determination and address people outside the low and moderate income census tract block groups. But I'm also trying to address the problem with the issue overall. So when it comes to public facilities, and water lines are public facilities, the CDBG rules allow you to do an area-wide benefit. So we have 4 block groups that have 51% or more low and moderate income. So it's those block groups I can do a street at a time. Elsewhere in town, I have to do low and moderate income.
And you're only doing owner-occupied properties, correct?
I can do owner or rental on this, but
So-
on the home repair.
So
it's
out
only
of
home.
curiosity, why would we do rental property? I mean, I know that we're trying to give better quality water,
It's more a water quality issue.
but why would we do non-owner occupied property?
We would do any occupied property on the water line.
Okay.
I just have one more question. Only because I know that this was something that I've talked about for a long time with being responsible for the line from your home to the street. Providence Water Department knows who has faulty pipes and who doesn't because of that, the high meter readings. Are we doing anything with Providence Water so when they visit a home and they're telling the resident that there's a leak, a possible leak, and they're requiring them, and then they're giving them a certain period of time to fix that leak in the yard? Because what happens if they don't, the water department will tell them they have X amount of days, or they would shut their water off if they're not fixing it because it's a waste of water. Are we doing anything with Providence Water Department to ask them for that list so we know who is actually in need versus just going and doing a random block? I see people doing that all the
Yeah,
time.
Providence Water is going to give us a list where we can be targeted and address the locations where there are problems. So
yes, so Providence Water Department has a list. So it's not necessarily blocks, it could be random houses
it
that
could
have.
be, but if there are several on one block, we want to try and group where possible,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
If there are other questions, I'm happy to answer them. I know you've got a long agenda, so I'm happy to answer them at another time if you'd like to have any questions. So thank you for your indulgence and your time.
Okay, I'm gonna entertain a motion to authorize resolution 16-004 and also send it to our finance committee, just so we can look at the overall numbers.
6 months.
With $350,000.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Catanzaro, second by Councilman Brady. Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you.
Item number 12, disabled veterans exemption, received communication from Agop Jake Zakarian, commander of the Lymanville Memorial Post 111, for discussion concerning a 100% exemption for 100% disabled veterans. Thank you for your service, sir. Just please state your name.
Hagop Jake Taraxian, Town Council President, council members, good evening. As I said, my name is Hagop Jake Taraxian. I am the commander of the post and the commander of the Lymansville Memorial VFW Post 10,011 at 354 Fruit Hill Avenue in North Providence. I come before you today on behalf of our disabled veterans and our veterans who reside in the town of North Providence. The town has 8 disabled veterans who are at 100% disability rating. We also have 847 veterans who are currently on the tax the town's tax roll, and they receive a $5,000 tax assessment that equals $139.70. Our 100% disabled veterans receive $279.40. And as I said before, there were only 8 100% totally disabled veterans in the town. The seniors who reside in North Providence, they get the same exemption as a 100% disabled veteran, a totally 100% service-connected disabled veteran. I asked the town council to sponsor an ordinance to give our disabled veterans a 100% tax exemption up to a $250,000 assessment. The exact amount of that exemption would total $30,000 along with the homestead exemption. I would also like to add those disabled veterans who receive 100% pay rating but don't receive their 100% disability rating because they are in a catch-22. They are over 55 years of age, unable to work, and get an unemployability rating to bring them to 100% pay rating. They may be 80% PTSD and 20% unemployable because of the medication that they take for their disorder. Let's not leave these disabled veterans by the roadside. I know the total number of disabled veterans, I don't know the total number of disabled veterans who are not at the 100% rating, but I would be more than willing to try to find out from the 847 veterans who live in North Providence. Isn't it time that we respect our totally disabled veterans and our partially disabled veterans? They have been wounded in combat. They have been blown up by IUDs. They suffer from traumatic brain injury. They lost their arms and their legs. They suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. They have been given unknown medications for chemical warfare. They have been sent into the black oil well fires and got who knows what kind of sickness from a military that won't even admit to their sickness. Our young men and women have been exposed to fire pits in Iraq and Afghanistan where they burn all kinds of toxins. And the town pays them a whole $279.40. We Americans know the difference between right and wrong, and this is so wrong. We take care of our illegal aliens better than we take care of our disabled veterans. While you sleep safely in your bed every night, our brave young men and women are sleeping in some hellhole in the middle of the desert. They put their lives on the line every day so that we continue to live in a free society. Being a disabled veteran and a citizen of the greatest country in the world, we should be treated better than we are. Our young men and women come back home from multiple deployments, some doing as many as 7 deployments, or 7 tours. They are afraid to speak up about their PTSD and their traumatic brain injury because they think they will be labeled unfit for duty or unfit for a job with the police or fire department. These young men and women need our help now more than ever. We cannot give our veterans, can we not give our veterans an increase in their property exemption? I asked the town council to look at our disabled veterans and our returning veterans and give them a hand up. They truly deserve everything that we can do for them. I know, I'm a Vietnam veteran. Let's do more for our Iraq and Afghanistan veterans than nothing that we did for our Vietnam veterans. Let's not make the same mistake twice. God bless America. God bless all those who wear the uniform of the United States military. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you can follow the tax exemption that the city of Cranston has given their 112 disabled veterans this year.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you very
sir,
much.
for coming before us.
Thank
Do
you.
you have a copy?
I do.
Do you have a copy of the ordinance that they passed in Cranston?
Actually, Ms.
Yeah.
Catanzaro has
Okay.
it.
Is there any questions before?
Yeah, I got a question. How many veterans did you say are in North Providence?
We have 8 100% totally disabled veterans listed on the tax rolls. The number of disabled veterans who are partially disabled, who a lot of them are at that 100%, but because they're rated at 80% and they get 20% for unemployability because they're old and they can't work because of their medications, I don't have that number. I tried to find out, but I was unable. I tried calling a lot of veterans and I was unable to get through because their phone numbers aren't listed.
Do you have any idea what the number of total veterans?
The total number of veterans in the town of North Providence is 847 veterans. But I would just ask if you could give the men who are disabled, partially disabled, an increase in their tax exemption. They truly did earn it.
Any more questions?
Mr. President, I have the information after I met with Jake. House Bill number 8079. We'll have to follow it and see when it's being 8079. And it's an act relating to taxation, property subject to taxation for veterans exceptions. And it creates a property tax exemption of up to $250,000 for totally disabled veterans residing, this says, in the city of Cranston, and would also apply to any surviving spouse of that veteran. That's in the House Municipal Government. Cranston did pass an ordinance, which I'll give to the clerk, that you can have, and they also sent down a resolution if this is something that we wanted to mirror also for our community. So we can either refer it, take a look at it, send it to council to see if they can draft it. There are 8, like you said, I verified it also.
There's only 8 on the tax roll
Correct.
at this time who were listed under a property
For
exemption.
100%,
Right.
right. So,
Mr. President, I have a question. You said if a person is 80% disabled and 20% unemployable, who decides the 20%, the VA?
The Veterans Administration, yes.
Okay.
Any more questions? Did you want to speak?
Yeah, I came here to support this. I'm a veteran, but I'm one of the lucky ones. I was a peacetime veteran because I was too young to go into service. But I've lost a couple of cousins killed in action. I have about a half a dozen friends of mine that were mortally wounded. They spent years in hospitals. So they just don't come out and get a job. They need something like this. I support it 100%. And based on the amount of veterans, it should be passed. Because even the system itself is kind of tough. It's kind of hard to get some of these perks from the system itself, too. I've been fighting the VA for 50 years. I won, but I fought them for 50 years because they don't give you things too easily. You have to fight, and you have to show proof. And I think you people should pass this, all of you, and it's a good thing, and it's something we shouldn't forget the veterans. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Del Ponte. I'd like to thank Mr. Takarian and the rest of the veterans that came out to present this to us, and thank you, Councilwoman Canzaro, for getting that information for us. What I'd like to see happen is this referred to our Finance Committee and Ordinance Committee so we can and we'll schedule the meetings so they can coincide and move this along as fast as possible. So I'd like to entertain a motion to refer the ordinance and the matter to Finance and Ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service, gentlemen.
Item number 13, Land Trust Funds. Anthony Natale, Treasurer of the North Providence Land Trust requests discussion and vote concerning the following. 1, obtain council approval to perform $3,000 of landscaping cleanup expenses for benefit of the Land Trust Hobson Avenue parcel. 2, confirm a line item of approximately $2,000 exits on the town's annual budget for the Land Trust administrative and meeting attendance costs.
Wow, Tony, you
Westcott.
look different.
Mr. President, members of the council, thank you so much for hearing us. As you can see, the town planner is a member of the Land Trust by charter, and Mr. Conti is unable to be here. He was detained this evening and asked me if I'd fill in, so you're just going to have to kind of imagine that I look a little bit like him, but less distinguished. The two matters before us are pretty straightforward. We own a piece of property at Hobson Avenue, and we went over that property with the tree warden, and the tree warden has recommended that we remove diseased trees and trees that have a potential to come crashing down in that property. The town has a contract with Northeast Tree, and we've obtained an estimate from them for $3,000 to go in and remove that dead wood and take those bad trees out of there and make the site both safe and more useful to the public. So we're asking that funding can come from our impact fee funds. Impact fee funds can be used for the purchase of property and the maintenance of that property as a capital asset for the land trust. And so we're asking if we can have that cost approved, taken from our land trust funds to do that purpose. As you know, the land trust can only spend funds on land trust property, and it can only do so with the permission of the council. If you want to just keep going, I'll do the second, or do you want to?
Mr. Westcott,
Let's just do the first one first.
where on Hobson Ave is this piece of property?
Last lot on the right. I know you've been sneaking through to Mineral Spring Avenue on that. And you know when you're coming up, you're just about to hit that stop sign. It's the...
Which stop sign? Because this is North Providence. There's many.
You come up the hill on Dewey and you bang a right on Hobson. You can drive out towards the end of Hobson, and just before you get to the stop sign to turn left to go up to Mineral Spring Avenue. There's an empty lot. It's one house lot, and that property was the first property acquired by the land trust. It's not a very big piece of property. I think it's a quarter-acre lot or 8,000. It was just shy of a buildable lot, I think.
Once they cut the tree down, are we doing anything with the land?
Yeah, they're going to take all that stuff out of there, and the intent of the land trust is to make it basically a pocket park with appropriate plantings for the neighborhood. So it's a little piece of open space for that neighborhood.
Okay.
But the first thing we need to do is get the dead wood out. We don't want to lure people into the woods where a falling tree, heard or not heard, may cause harm to them.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Westcott? And then I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the $3,000 for the landscaping on Hobson Ave.
So, second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilwoman Catanzaro. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you so much. The second matter is a little stickier. I was assured by members of the Land Trust that annually they had a budget that they used to meet their expenses, make them a member of the Rhode Island Land Trust Alliance, and send their members or defray costs for their members who go to Land Trust member training and things, and everyday operating expenses. The Land Trust can't use impact fees for operating expenses. And I asked where that is in the budget, and I don't think anybody in the Land Trust knows the answer to that question, nor do I know that any request was made by the Land Trust for that budget. So I don't expect action on this. I know the council has delayed the budget hearings, but the Land Trust just wanted to remind the council that in the past years there has been a small line item there that met the town Land Trust budget requirements on a day-to-day basis.
Well, that gets deposited in there automatically, doesn't it, from the impact fees?
The impact fees, but we can't use that money to meet day-to-day operating expenses. It can only be used for capital acquisition and the protection and maintenance of the capital, the land.
Right.
It can only be used for our land.
And about how many day-to-day expenses does the land trust have?
I think they said that in past years it's been around $2,000, not quite $2,000 each year. And they may have a more detailed request that we can get you further information on. At this point, they just we know the mayor has given the council a budget, and we're not sure it's in there, and we just wanted to stand up and be recognized.
Mr. President,
Go ahead.
could you send us a breakdown of that,
Certainly.
those expenses?
Yes, we can.
Does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Westcott? We will be sure to look into that for you.
Thank you very
We
much
have
for your time this evening.
our first budget hearing on Monday.
As to our appointments, I see they're later on in the agenda. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 14, stop sign. Council President Audiello requests discussion and vote for a request for a four-way stop sign on Willow Street. Is anybody here from Willow Street? Okay, I'm going to continue this item. I had an attorney that I work with reach out to me about a client of his who was complaining about a stop sign issue on Willow Street. I tried contacting them in person, and they have not gotten back to me, so I was hoping if I put it on the agenda, they might see it and come, but with that being said, I'm going to remove this from the agenda. Do I have a motion to remove it?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Councilwoman Catanzaro, seconded by Councilman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 15, stop sign. Council President Audiello requests discussion and vote concerning a stop sign issue on Merchant and Manning Street, outside of 96 Merchant Street. Councilwoman Catanzaro, I know you visited the house, so if you want to speak on it.
Yes, coming down from Smith Street, the sign is on the right-hand side, and it's on a corner, but the sign is after the three-way intersection. So we'd like to see if we can move the stop sign closer so they're not already into the intersection, and you can't really see it because it's turned. So a lot of times you go through it, and you just kind of make the turn, and you're not stopping. So maybe we can get them to move it before the intersection and then face it toward the traffic and not, perpendicular. So I guess we could ask the DPW if they could take a look at that. I do know there was an officer there the night I was there, and he ironically came through the stop sign. So I'll entertain a motion to send a letter to the DPW asking if they can move the stop sign before that intersection facing the traffic.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Catanzaro, seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 16, Salem Drive, Don Avenue. Council President Audiello requests discussion and vote concerning signage on Salem Drive and Don Avenue. I went over there, I went out to Salem Drive a couple months ago, and I discussed this with the administration, and they're working on getting the signage, but I just wanted to put it on the record. When you come down Salem Drive, you're going down a hill, and the signs saying reduce speed are all facing the opposite way, so they really need to be turned around. So everyone going down the hill can see them rather than going up the hill. And also, as you take the corner, there is a school zone sign, but it's after you take the corner. And that sign should be moved up to the corner of Don Ave so people can see that as they're coming down the hill rather than once they make the corner, because you're already right on top of the school at that point. So I'd like to send a letter, an official letter to our DPW, moving the sign up to the corner of Salem Drive and Don Ave, and also taking the reduced speed signs going down Salem Drive and reversing them on the telephone poles.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those
Make a
opposed?
suggestion on that?
Yeah.
Do we put those signs on both sides of the street?
That'd be,
Sections going up and down?
that'd be even better.
Yeah, maybe we should add that into the,
Okay, I'm going to add that to the letter, put them on both sides of the street. Thank you. Item number 17, tax exemption for disabled veterans disabled by military service. Councilman Warren requests discussion and vote on a real estate tax break on a resident owned and occupied by a disabled veteran who is disabled by military service. Councilman Warren wasn't able to make it tonight, so I'm going to entertain a motion to continue to next month's meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman Catanzaro. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 18, status on 1 Plimpton and 1835 Middle Spring Avenue. Councilwoman Catanzaro requests discussion and vote on the status of a property designated as Assessors Plat 22A, lots 332 and 336 further designated as 1 Plimpton Street and 1825 Middle Spring Avenue, purchase and sales agreement. This item was continued from the April Town Council meeting. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to continue this to next month. It actually is status quo, so we don't have an update on this, so I'll make a motion to continue this to next month's agenda.
Motion's been made by Councilman Catanzaro. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 19, executive session minutes. Councilwoman Catanzaro requests discussion and vote on unsealing the executive session minutes from meetings of January 5th and February 2nd, 2016. This item was continued from the April Town Council meeting.
Thank you, Mr.
Councilwoman.
President. Where I am in favor of unsealing the minutes, so the public can know how we voted, the last item, because we don't have an update for us to do that, we have to follow the process. So I will also elect to continue this item to next month's meeting also. So I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Catanzaro. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 20, rodent problem. Councilwoman Catanzaro requests discussion and vote on the rodent problem on Woononskotucket Avenue and multiple adjacent streets and neighborhoods. Some residents would like to address this issue. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not sure if anyone is here this evening. One of the gentlemen who originally wanted to talk did text me this evening. He wasn't able to come. Last month, the council president was able to send a letter, and I thank the council for doing that. They voted to send one to minimum housing. And I spoke with the clerk today, and we haven't received any letter back from them on the rodent issue. It's very, very infested. The Lymansville area has seen a building coming down, and there's also some dumpsters in the neighborhood at some apartment complexes. I did get a call from a police officer doing the detail because, as we know, they're repairing the road and they're doing sidewalks. And between Lyman and Kiley, there were hundreds of rats, and the neighbors were telling the police officers that it's just absolutely infested. So I actually just got this information today. We shouldn't have to coexist with rodents. I'd like to know if we could send a second letter to minimum housing requesting what the abatement process was for the mill. Once they started doing construction a couple of months ago, it became that much worse. I was told the abatement on the particular mill property was done in 2012 or 13. So because there was no action in that building until recently, it may have disturbed some of those nests over there, and they're running out into the neighborhoods. So I'd like to know if we could send that letter and ask them for the abatement procedures for that particular property, and also let them know that between Lyman and Kiley, where the apartment buildings are, there's some dumpsters that also are contributing to this rodent issue. And in that motion, I'd like to have a response back as soon as possible and definitely before next month's meeting.
Okay, a motion's been made by Councilwoman Catanzaro. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Fiola. All those in favor?
There's a couple of people who just raised their hand.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? You two. I'm
Thank
gonna take
you.
the gentleman in the back first, and then. Can you just state your name for the record? Can you just state?
My name is Matt Bergeron. I own the property 1600 Smith Street in North Providence. Each year I have problems with rodents. My neighbor, Frank, down the road, he also has problems with rats. I've managed to get rid of them. I used poison before and whatnot, but this time what I did is I bought the trash cans that have lids that cover. I don't know, I've always thought that since Providence had gotten those new trash cans, I know we have the recycle ones and everything now, but Providence bought the ones with the lids years ago. I don't know. I tend to think that the rats are moving out of Providence because they bought all those new trash bins. I know we have the recycle ones now and everything, but there's also regular trash with food and all that other stuff that's in the green ones. So they're not usually in the recyclable ones. But Frank, my neighbors, also had the same issue. Finally, I bought those ones with the lids, and I don't have any more problems. They moved out because they were eating from the trash can and then going into my basement. My house is really, really old, so I just wanted to give you my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, also, sorry. No, we were going, my neighbor Frank and I were going to CVS one night, and we saw them all around CVS, actually, on Mineral Spring. We could see them running around in the CVS parking lot, along the wall where all those apartment buildings are.
Wow. Okay, thank you.
I think what happens is there's a lot of dumpsters, and it's, I know Woonasquatucket is very busy right now with a lot of construction, and it's disturbing things, but in the apartment complexes themselves, the dumpsters do not hold the amount of garbage that's going into the dumpsters. So we have to find some way through minimum housing that where either, I do know they go out and violate. I have to say that Mike Carnaval goes out and he talks to the owners, but it's just getting out of hand in general, so.
I just thought we had this problem, Louis, if you remember, a few years back.
I don't know if it was like 7, 8, or 10 years ago, we had a serious problem here in North Providence.
We found that the rats live within 150 feet of their food source. And we walked the neighborhood, and we found a backyard in the neighborhood where the woman on the second floor would just throw her raw garbage in the backyard. And we had something like a foot of raw garbage in the backyard of this one house. And that's where the rats were feeding every night. Once we cleaned that all up, we got that all cleaned up. Now the rats started feeding on each other, and that eliminated them. And I went to Louis' house. I started walking in the backyard, and they're running all around, and he's going, come on, don't look at them, that's all right. And they were the size of cats,
They're not afraid, they come out in broad daylight,
Yeah.
4 or 5 at a time like they're playing bridge. I mean that, next door. I'm looking at them, usually they're afraid. It cost me a few $1,000s. I lost 2 sheds in the back of my garage, and it cost me $1,200 to put cement, but they were coming from 1902 Smith Street and the bar there, Bailey's Bar, and their dumpsters. They were dropping raw garbage in there. It was filthy. They were not enclosed. That's who you have to get after, the people that have got dumpsters and the neighbors, the residents that don't cover their garbage cans and just do whatever they want. They're just filthy, some of them. They don't give a damn. I even spray my garbage. I put it in a double bag, and I put some Babbo or something that doesn't smell good. So when a rat goes there, he's not going to chew through the bag. It's getting bad. If they're on Onasquatucket Avenue, they're going to start coming up all over. My brother in New Hampshire once said, Louis, they got you on television as the Pied Piper of North Providence. They got all the way to New Hampshire. But it's a bad problem. You could actually, during broad daylight, you could see them. They're not even afraid. They're out there just feeding. I poured about 2,000 gallons of water in a hole that I saw. I must have drowned a few hundred, but you got to stop them. You have to be stopped. And that poison you get from North Providence, that's dangerous for pets. It's all right if you got a couple of rats, but the main thing is to get the garbage cans covered, make sure they're bagged, get after all the people that have got dumpsters, make sure they're properly cleaned and they're emptied when they're supposed to be, and their garbage is bagged. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem that you're going to be sorry. Believe me, it's bad. And my wife is one of the cleanest persons in the world. We don't have anything hanging around. I double bag the garbage, I spray, I do everything. They still come. If you got a little food, in fact, I had pictures of all the pictures I had from the Salvation Army. people were throwing garbage in the Salvation Army. I got a picture of that, raw, food. I think it was macaroni and meatballs and everything. What the hell's better than that for a rat, They're not gonna go anywhere else. But something's gotta be done
Italian
before they
rats.
get up to Smith Street.
What I did a couple of years ago, I spoke with Lowe's, and they were giving a 15% discount, and we did put something in the Valley Breeze, letting people know that because Lowe's is here in our neighborhood, that they would offer with a valid North Providence driver's license, that 15% discount to get a new garbage can. And what I'll do is I'll reach out to that store manager again, and I'll ask them if they'll run that program again. It was a great idea. The gentleman in the audience, made mention about the ones with the covers. I don't know if they have those exact ones like Providence, but at least I will ask if they can give a discount and remind people that, yes, not having a covered garbage can or holes in the garbage can, contributes to the rodent issue. So I will do that first thing tomorrow, and if they consent to that discount, I'll make sure we get something in the paper on that.
Another thing is, a few years ago, you asked about a house on Woonasquatucket that should be demolished.
Right.
Now, that and the mills, that's a haven for rats. When they demolish places like that, if they're demolishing the mill, there's gonna be thousands of rats in there.
Right.
Once you start demolishing, they're gonna run, and they're gonna go all over. So maybe they can be advised that something that's not dangerous, that would kill the rats, and keep them there intact, rather than scatter all over the place.
Well, what they had was an abatement program several years ago when that building was just sitting there, but they abated it years ago. But they actually didn't start the work on it until maybe January or February, from what I read. And it was at that time, if they hadn't abated again once they started to disturb it, and that's not the only issue, that may contribute to it, because you're disturbing that area where they've lived. But that's why I requested to get that abatement program the last time they were required to do that. Maybe they need another abatement now.
Yeah.
I don't have the
Before that
records.
gets out of hand, you gotta do something.
I also think it's time that we need to start looking into getting the covered trash bins like Providence has. It was a long process to get the recycling bins here, and there was a lot of work with the contract to get them, and it was kind of like a test run. And I think when we first did it, we got our share of complaints. They were too big. They were, and I understand the issues with them, but I really like it. I know all my neighbors like it, and I think it's time to start looking into the trash bins
I'll tell
as
you,
well.
when they start getting in your houses or your neighborhoods, you'll see them, they're in broad daylight, 4 or 5 at a time.
And if they think that there's a food source on the other side of a cement wall,
They can eat through anything.
they'll go right through the cement.
Oh,
to get
they
at.
put a
They
hole
will.
right through my cement
Because their
garage.
teeth grow a fraction of an inch every day, and they gotta grind them down so they don't care. They'll go right through the cement to get at that food source. That's
And we
the
also
key.
have to continue to stay on minimum housing. They do a good job, but they're down there constantly, especially off Woonasquatucket Ave, as I'm sure you get the calls,
Yes.
Councilwoman,
You can get the Public
about
Works
people
Department
not
to help
covering their
out.
garbage.
The
And
Public Works Department, they're always there. Have them check all the neighbors to make sure they covered the garbage cans and everything, things like that. It'll
I
help.
appreciate everything that you said, and I think we're all aware it's a community problem. We've had issues in other areas such as Maryville, all over the town, because of the issue of not having the proper trash containers, garbage containers, and I think Council President has a good suggestion. Maybe we can look into it and find out if that's something we can explore funding for, because it is a town-wide issue.
Yeah, but it's
And
a
the covered
responsibility
garbage
of
cans
the
would help.
resident
I'm
to get their
sorry?
own garbage cans.
Well, I think what we're saying is it may be time to transition into the same kind of garbage cans that Providence has
Yeah,
with the
that's-
lids for everyone. And I think that's what Council President suggested, and I think it's a great idea, quite timely, especially with the summer coming. And I think it's something we have to at least explore.
see,
So where would they go now?
the overall,
They keep them from-
the overall recycling program was a test to see if people liked that style of garbage bin, and I think after people got used to them, the initial, it's a good response now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's
that-
time
that's
to
a-
look
that's a good
into,
thing. If
you know,
they come up with
town-wide.
the garbage, something for garbage. But the residents too, they have to do their job too. You know, some people are slobs. They're
Thank you.
just plain slobs, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
They are.
All right,
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 21, license renewal. Receive applications for renewal of victualling, holiday sales, laundry, firearms, peddler, vendor, jiu-jitsu karate, extended hours, and 24-hour licenses.
Mr. President, I just have to recuse from the Cat and Zara's Pizzeria. So if you do that separately, please. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I didn't take a look at all the ones, and I should have told you beforehand. Just,
All right, just let me know when you're recusing.
give me, okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the victualling license for pending all necessary requirements for American Safety Programs, Andre's Dipped and Drizzles, Aroma Grill, Avenue Grill, Bagel Express, Bailey's Pub, Best Eastern Restaurant, Best Taste Restaurant 2, Betty's Restaurant, Burger King number 10759, Cal's Corner, Captain's Catch, Carrie Seafood Express, I'll skip over that one, Chow Street Diner, Cheng's Kitchen, Cilantro's Restaurant, Columbus Club of NP, Coolix Creamery, Coffee Connection, Dana Sports Lounge, Dell's Lemonade, DiPetrillo's Pizza and Bakery, Dillon Council of KFC, Dodge Goliath Post number 29, Domino's Pizza number 3905, Dunkin' Donuts, Dunkin' Donuts, Dunkin' Donuts, Dunkin' Donuts, Dunkin' Donuts, Shell Station, El Charo Restaurant, Fahrenheit 516, Fitzy's Pub 2, Friendly's number 885, Golden Cross Pizza, Genesis Grill, Geneva Diner, Green Basil Restaurant and Bar, Greystone Social Club, Halak Middle East Market, Healthy Heaven, Honeydew Donuts, Il Finello, J&I Restaurant Incorporated, DBA Jackie's Galaxy Restaurant, Jackie's Galaxy of North Providence Incorporated, DBA Jackie's Restaurant, Jersey Mike Stubbs, Kenwa, Koi Palace Asian Cuisine, LA Bailey's, Lancelotta's, Larry's Lounge, Wisconsin Country Club, Lyman's Memorial Post 111, Made in Mexico, Masala Indian Cuisine, Mary Lou's Coffee, Maisie's Restaurant, McDonald's, number 5367, Mediterranean Pizza, Mundo di Cigar, New Peking Restaurant, North End Deli, Northside Pockets, Oki's Japanese Steakhouse, Osho Sushi and Bar, Quality Pentas Italian Deli, Silipo Restaurant, Presentation Columbus Club, Red Ginger 2, Rhode Island College Donovan Dining, Rhode Island Billiards, Riccati's, Ronzio's, Rossi's Cold Cut and Deli, Sammy's House of Pizza, Sam's New York System, Santoro's Pizza, Simply Seasonal, Sorrento Restaurant, Speedy Pizza, Subway, Sunnyside Rec Club, Sweet Licks, Taco Bell, The Fire, Tina's Italian Kitchen, Twins Pizza, Veterans Rec Center, Walt's Roast Beef, Wine and Cheese, Woodward Social Club.
Mr. President, I'm just going to recuse because they were all together, so instead of just... Yeah, no, there's a couple.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's, yeah, so I'll just recuse.
Okay, I'm going to add Cat and Zaros to that list. And please note for the record, Councilman Canzaro is going to recuse.
From victuals?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Who made that? I'm sorry. Who made that?
Or do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman Stephanus. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Do I have the,
That's it, just those.
Okay, holiday. Codsmart, Cosmo Proof, Crownali Bakery, Cumberland Farms, number 1224, Cumberland Farms, number 1256, CVS 351, DiPetrillo's Pizza and Bakery, Destiny Convenience Store, Dollar Tree, number 4632, Wanda Repass, Family Dollar, number 7649, Attention Tax and License Department, Family Pet Center, Genocide Inc., GNC Happy Nails and Spa, HKB Market, Jiffy Lube, number 775, JW Mini Mart, Kangaroo CDs and Tape, Lowe's, number 2863, Mineral Spring Ave, Getty, Mineral Spring Shell, North Providence Food Mart, Ocean State Nutrition, Payless Shoe Store, Shoe Source, number 5406, Pet Supplies Plus, Public Storage, Rainbow, Rite Aid, number 10248, Rite Aid, number 10255, Sally's Beauty Supply, Salon Centric, Sam's Food Store, Shore Supermarket, number 7443, Shell, Shores Market, Smith Street Express, Smith Street Shell, Smokestack Cigar Shop, Sona African Hair Braiding, Spices and Things, Stop and Shop, Stop and Wash, Walgreens Pharmacy, number 03737. Do I have a motion to approve the holiday license?
Mr. President, I'm certainly in favor of supporting these, but my computer wasn't working and I wasn't able to print them out. So because I didn't separate the ones beforehand, I'm going to recuse because you mentioned a couple I had to, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just know for the record that Councilwoman Catanzaro is recusing. Do I have a motion to
So moved.
approve pending necessary requirements?
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman Faiola. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Extended hours, Avenue Grill, Betty's Restaurant, Taco Bell, Charles Street Diner. Do I have a motion to approve the extended hours pending necessary requirements?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? No, one nay for the record. Councilman Giusti. 24-hour license. CVS, number 351. Sam's Food Store. Seasons Corner Market. U-Fit Health Clubs. Cumberland Farms, number 1224. Do I have a motion to approve the
I'm
24-hour license?
recusing from these also, Mr.
Okay,
President.
please note that Councilwoman Catanzaro is recusing. Do I have a motion to approve the 24-hour license pending all necessary requirements?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Councilman Brady, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, Councilman Faiola. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Laundry. Baylong Laundromat, Keep It Clean, Stop and Wash, Waterman Laundromat. Do I have a motion to approve pending all necessary requirements?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Firearms. Smith Hill Jewelry and Guns. Do I have a motion to approve pending all necessary requirements?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I guess they can.
Do I have a second?
She told me.
Second.
Sorry.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Peddlers, Vendors, and Vendor. Dell's Lemonade, Frisky Fries, Kona Ice, Shaved Ice, North End Deli, Pelaggi's Ice Cream, Wolfie's Freezer Delights. Do I have a motion to approve pending all necessary requirements?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman Faiola. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Jiu-Jitsu and Karate, RI Martial Arts. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman DeStefanis. Any questions?
Councilman, I got a question. You go back to the extended hours.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we'd approved McDonald's on Mill Spring Avenue.
They didn't do it.
They didn't do it?
Nope.
And Cumberland Farms?
They're on there. 24-hour.
So the test period for McDonald's didn't work in. No.
I didn't want to. Just
Okay, all right. Okay, do I have a motion to, motion to grant for Jiu-Jitsu and Karate pending all necessary requirements?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Councilwoman Catanzaro, seconded by Councilman Brady. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 22. Board appointments. 2 appointments to the North Providence Land Trust. I'll read this letter into the record. Dear Mary Ann, at a regular meeting of the North Providence Land Trust held on April 14, 2016, it was unanimously voted to recommend that the Town Council reappoint the following individuals with terms expiring in May 2016. Marilyn Walaska and Ken Conti, Land Trust members, Stephen Borowick and John Rossi, Land Trust Advisory Board members. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me weekdays at 781-329-3000, extension 204, or via email at tnatali@salvatorecapital.com. Thank you for your continued cooperation. Sincerely, Anthony Natali, Treasurer.
Make a motion to reappoint.
Motion's been made to reappoint by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 23, claims submitted. Mike Dooley, 23 Park Street. Stephen Iannazzi, 24 Union Avenue. Ryan McNamara, 7 Grove Street. And Casey Wiedinger, 23 Farnham Ave. Do I have a motion to send these to the Claims Committee?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman Giusti. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 24, Claims Committee report. Town Council discussion and action with regard to the Claims Committee report to be presented by Councilman Fiola. Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. President. Claims Committee met earlier this evening. I will go through each. There's 4 claims. The first one I have is for Mr. Ryan McNamara. This is approved, paid in full. The amount is $289. Second one is a Miss Casey Wiedinger. This is approved in full, $164.87. Third one, Mr. Stephen Iannazzi. I'm going to reach out to DPW. This was for damage from a snowplow onto his property, grass, and I think the berm in front of the home. And the last one, I'm going to reach out to the individual, Mr. Mike Dooley, for a more detailed invoice. Any questions?
All right, I'd like to make a motion to accept the committee report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Councilman Canzaro, seconded by Councilman Giusti. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Councilman Giusti, seconded by Councilman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.